Good morning and a happy Monday to you. It is February 10th. We are at 6:29, just about 30 seconds away from 6:30 this morning. And that means it's time to check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmal for a look at the forecast this morning. And Megan, we have been talking about the winter weather that we could be seeing in the days to come. I know maybe kind of sad for Valentine's Day, but a good day to stay in, I'd assume.
Well, I actually have some good news for you. For most of Friday, it'll be dry, but we do have a chance of rain as we pop into the late hours of Friday. So maybe not if you have some late plans or late dinner plans. Maybe you'll start to see the rain chances come up. But for most of your Valentine's Day, looking nice and clear. Now for today, though, here's what you can expect. Temperatures this morning will be in the very low 30s. Most places hovering at that 30-degree mark. 32 in Hazard and London, Middlesboro, Jonesville, and a little bit cooler as you're traveling towards Wise and Logan, 28 degrees. Now for the high temperatures of the day, we will be warming up just a little bit, looking in the 40s. Some places the low 40s as you're traveling more towards Moorhead, and as you're traveling towards Jacksboro, a little bit warmer, looking at that 50-degree mark potentially being hit today. Now satellite and radar is nice and clear for your Monday. We do have partly cloudy skies, but as we head into the overnight hours and into tomorrow, that's when we see a chance of wintry mix pop into the forecast. And so we'll have that wintry mix on Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll have a chance for rain that will taper off on Thursday and leave the rest of your Thursday clear going into your Valentine's Day. But then yet again, another rain chance pops up as you're heading into the weekend. Amelia.
All right, thank you, Megan. Well, the CDC reports flu cases officially reached their highest levels since 2009. Cases in the Commonwealth are reflecting those surging numbers. Madison Carmouche explains how this is impacting Kentucky children at home and at school.
So in the last week or so, we've seen a doubling in the number of people testing positive for influenza in Kentucky.
Kentucky Commissioner of Public Health Dr. Stephen Stack is advising people to be mindful of the many ways viruses spread. In the case of students, he highlights the importance of immunization.
So any person 6 months and older is eligible to get the flu and the COVID vaccine. And so we would encourage everybody who is 6 months and older to be immunized each fall against both COVID and influenza.
On Friday, Kentucky reported the first death of a child due to the flu. Officials say the child was not vaccinated against the virus.
It's a tragedy. There's a family that's in horrible sorrow right now, and I ask everyone to extend your kindness to them. The single biggest thing we can do to prevent death from these diseases is to get immunized.
Students in Casey County were some of the many who were not in school Thursday and Friday due to an influx of flu A, B, strep throat, and COVID. Superintendent Barry Lee saying they used the 2 days off to clean the schools.
The flu immunization and the COVID immunization have a really good track record of reducing the severity of illness. They cannot prevent you from getting sick, but they can profoundly lower your risk for ending up in the hospital or when tragedy really strikes from losing a life related to it.
Stacks reminds people it is not too late to get vaccinated and protect your loved ones this season. In Lexington, Madison Carmouche, WKYT.
Several eastern Kentucky school districts were closed last week, either due to illnesses or flooding. In Laurel County, a teacher was put on administrative leave. An arrest warrant was issued for Brittany Farmer, who's a teacher at North Laurel Middle School. She's accused of abusing her child during an incident which reportedly happened off campus and after school hours. Farmer is charged with criminal abuse and assault. A case where 3 men were charged with the murder of a Pike County man is heading to a grand jury. Michael Shortridge, Anthony Browning, and Michael Brown appeared in court last Thursday. Probable cause was found during the hearing. The men were charged in the death of Christopher Lester, which happened last month. Also in Pike County, a couple accused of child abuse appeared in court Thursday for a hearing. That case is also heading to a grand jury. Jerome Norman and Mary Hall were arrested earlier this month. They were charged with criminally abusing a child. Probable cause was found during that hearing. The two remain in the Pike County Detention Center with bonds set at $250,000. Deputies in Perry County are investigating a pair of incidents where one man reportedly tried to lure children in a vehicle with him. They say both incidents happened last week. One was in the Bulin area, while the other occurred in the Vico community on Highway 15. Police say the man pulled up in his vehicle and tried to get the children, who were between the ages of 11 and 13, to get inside with him. Police say the children were not harmed. A northern Kentucky woman was charged with kidnapping a minor in Clay County. The incident happened on Wednesday when deputies with the sheriff's office got a call from troopers with state police. When deputies were notified that Jade Meyer took a child without proper custody, that's when they started searching for her. They later found Meyer in a vehicle at the intersection of North Highway 421 and Highway 1350. The city of Hazard has a new police chief. Hazard Mayor Happy Mobilini says Zach Miller will be formally introduced this morning. Miller was a deputy with the Perry County Sheriff's Department and previously worked for the Hazard Police Department. He replaces Darren Williams, who was let go in December. Well, if you've been seeing long lines at the driver's license offices, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet blames them on the new vision screening requirement. It started last month. Cabinet officials told our sister station in Louisville that more people are renewing their license because the cabinet offers free vision tests. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says it's looking into installing line management technology. A Kentucky lawmaker now proposed a bill to allow third-party companies to handle license renewals. The bill has not been heard in a committee yet. Last week wrapped up with a break from the rain and storms, which produced tornadoes Thursday and flash flooding. In Knox County, officials say the heavy rain caused problems for nearly a fourth of their rural roads. While emergency management groups expected some outlying roads to be covered in water, even some main roads like Kentucky 11 were partly underwater for a time. Last week, the National Weather Service in Jackson conducted damage surveys following the strong winds felt throughout the region. They started in Rockcastle County, where they confirmed a tornado did touch down. They then followed the storm's path to Jackson and Owsley counties. Meteorologist Jane Wicks says they do not believe a tornado touched down in Jackson County, but did in Owsley County based on the damage they saw.
A tornado can also touch the ground and they can lift back up, and they can touch back down and it can lift back up. It can also go through recycling phases, especially during strong tornadoes. You could have a tornado that is basically kind of cutting off its own circulation. It kind of lifts up for a minute and then it gets going again and it comes back down.
She says these types of tornadoes are usually on the weaker end, but still can cause substantial damage as seen last week. She also says straight line winds can cause just as much damage as a tornado. Some damage in Corbin was believed to be caused by straight line winds. Last week's severe weather brings back some painful memories for business owners who lived through the historic flooding 2.5 years ago. Every storm brings renewed concerns. Simon Christian and his family own Isom IGA, which was destroyed in the July 2022 flood. Now, every heavy rain event is a reminder of what could happen again.
If it does happen, like I said, just make sure you're strong in your faith, and you know the real provider of the situation is God, because I feel like that's the truth. As long as you support your community and they feel like it's genuine between you and your customer base and your community, help is on the way, and the Lord will send that help to make sure everything's taken care of for you.
Despite the risk, he says they made no major changes to prepare for future flooding, instead focusing on serving their community day by day.
We're watching those clouds roll through eastern Kentucky. This will be the story for today. Partly cloudy skies, staying nice and dry, which is going to be a good break from the rain that we saw this past weekend and the upcoming system moving through eastern Kentucky starting tonight. Now let's talk about temperatures. Forecast highs for today will be warming up as we're heading into the afternoon. We're looking at the low 40s as we're traveling more towards the north, and the mid 40s for most of our region. However, as we're traveling closer to that Tennessee-Kentucky border, on the warmer side of things, hitting the upper 40s and potentially hitting that 50-degree mark as you're traveling towards Jacksboro. Now, if you're going to the bus stop, here's what you can expect right now. 32 degrees and calm winds, but by the time you're heading to school, 32 degrees still, and we're seeing those clouds. But as we head into the afternoon, maybe having that sun peek out just a little bit and hitting those temperatures in the mid 40s. Amelia.
Thank you, Megan. While still to come on Mountain News this morning, just in time for National Teddy Day, this group of students is spreading kindness with one unbearably adorable gift at a time.